Hey VC, how's everyone doing? This is a video I've been wanting to do for forever now, and I've never actually done it, and here I am finally doing it. And it's probably going to be a very, very long video because obviously this is my favorite band, King Crimson. Let me tell you a little about the band and how I got into them. Well, first, what's playing in the background is the Night Watch. This is such a great live album. If you're fans of King Crimson, get this if you see it. Great live album. Love it. Anyway, I got into King Crimson. Basically, I was watching a documentary on rock and roll history. I don't even know what it was, but I just flipped it on while I was eating because I don't ever watch TV. So I just flipped it on and I saw it. And they talked about King Crimson, about them playing at Hyde Park, opening for the Rolling Stones. And they played the little video segment of King Crimson playing Schizoid Man. And as soon as I heard Greg Lake start singing, I was like, I have got to get one of the albums by this band. So I did. And my first album by King Crimson was In the Wake of Poseidon. And I fell in love with it, and I just kept on getting albums and albums, and I cannot get enough of this band. I am literally totally enamored with this band. I love everything about them. Their image, how they play, their members, it's all there. It's all there in my opinion. But anyway, we're going to start this long video. This video might be 2 parts, might be 3 parts. I don't know. We'll just see how it goes. I think this first video will be strictly King Crimson, or in the court of King, or the Crimson King, in the court of the Crimson King, all the way through the end of the Wet era. And then the next video, Blue and solos. I got a lot of solos too. So anyway, here we go. First one of my grails. One of my absolute top grails. In the Court of the Crimson King. An original UK pressing. First pressing. And man, if you're a collector of King Crimson, you know how much this thing goes for on eBay and how hard it is to get. And I actually found it in a lot on eBay, and no one else was bidding on it, so happened to get it pretty cheap with a bunch of other King Crimson albums. So there it is, one of my grails. And just saying, I have a ton of the same copies of a lot of the albums, so because I just have to get every pressing I can get. Next one, this is the US First Pressing Record Club Edition. There it is. And I know last video I said I was going to take the Blake sleeves off, but it would take a million years to get all these off and back on these. So sorry about that. There's going to be glare, so I'm sorry. There, maybe I should have told them up over here. That's better. So there's King Crimson, or keep doing that. In the Court of the Crimson King, US Record Club Edition. Next, In the Court of the Crimson King, Canadian edition. There it is. The Canadian issues had the name printed on there. And several of these I've ran into in record stores. Some of them I've gotten off the internet, but that's basically how I get them. So, next one. Without the OBI strip, this is a Japanese pressing. And the cool thing about the Japanese pressing is it's very hard stock cardboard. And one thing I've noticed about the Japanese pressing that isn't on any other pressing that I've seen is in the top of the corner of the eye. Let's see if I can hide the glare or whatever. But anyway, right here, that line right there, it's not on any other pressing. None of them have that line. I don't know why. just something cool I've noticed about the Japanese pressing. Next, we have a U.S. reissue pressing. This came out in 1977 or 78. I can't remember, but it's Atlantic SD 19155. It is the repressing of the album. It's not an original copy. So there it is. Basically the same thing as everything. And personally, my favorite one to listen to, the 2010 200 gram reissue. Man, these 200 gram reissues sound insanely good on the speakers. So there it is. Moving on to the next album, the first album I got by King Crimson, and by this time the band was falling apart. They were just really up high, and then boom, they just fell. So this, In the Wake of Poseidon, this is a US copy, first pressing. Next one, same pressing, but this is the first King Crimson record I ever got. I know because the sticker right there pulled a tiny bit of the part on there off. So it just kept annoying me, so I had to get another copy. And I can't get rid of my first King Crimson record I ever got. Who could do that? So there's that. Those are the same pressings. So next one, Canadian first pressing. This is the red label Canadian. I'm not going to take all these out. I'm sure you guys have seen the red Canadian label, because if I took them all out, they'd take a million years. But the Canadian copies, they had the names printed on there. So it's a cool little detail about those. Next one, 2011 200 gram reissue. There's the single for Cat Food. Don't have that yet, but I will someday. Once again, this is the one I go to listen to. Moving on to the third album. By this time, Greg Lake, Michael Giles, and the other ones, the other people in the band, such as Peter Giles and Ian McDonald already left. They're all gone on this one. And it's basically just Fripp and Seinfeld. And they got Gordon Haskell and Andrew McCulloch. There we go. So this is a first pressing US. This one is fully, what's the word? Laminated, fully laminated. So there's that. Same thing, but this was my first one. Had to get a laminated copy. I'm just anal about this stuff, especially my King Crimson collection. And by the way, all these albums are mint. They're all mint to near mint. I can't keep one that's not in good condition, unless it's hanging on the wall or something, which I do hang their albums on the wall. So next, this is a UK repressing. They're all the same. I don't know why I keep flipping them. This one's on Polydor. This one's on Atlantic, by the way. Their US first pressings are all on Atlantic. So here's the UK repressing. Now the first issues were on Island. I don't have one, which I need to get one. But this is on Polydor. It's the red label. You guys have seen it. Next, they came out with a series of half-speed mastered albums of their discography in 1987, and this is one of them. It's got a cool logo or label. I'm going to actually show you guys this one, because I think they're only on King Crimson albums. And these half-speed master ones, they sound insanely good. This is the first of the ones I have. Let's see, flip it. There it is, Editions EG. So that is what that label looks like. might as well show you the gatefold while you're here. There's the gatefold of Lizard. And I don't know what I was about to say. I don't know why I said and. But anyway, next up is a Lizard yet again, and it is the 2012 200 gram. Once again, listening quality right here. Well, they're all listening quality, but this one sounds the best in my opinion. Second to this one, in my opinion. If you guys are huge King Crimson fans and you have preferred one you listen to, just shoot me a comment. I'd like to know. Anyway, this is a tricky album. This next album, well, Islands, their next album. Gordon Haskell left, and Andrew McCulloch left, and they got Boz Burrell, who later went to Bad Company, and Ian Wallace on drums. And basically, in my opinion, this is the worst lineup. It's still a great lineup for King Crimson, but it is the weakest lineup in my opinion. So there's a tricky thing about this album. This is a first pressing US copy, and this album is virtually impossible to find clean, just perfectly wide. I just found all these ones with dirt and crap all over them. The thing, I've gone through like 5 copies of this album, simply because one, the cover gets all kinds of junk and dirt on it, and second, the seam on this one always splits. There's always splits going down them. Why this album, I don't know, but I've seen so many copies like that. I've had 2 or 3 copies that have done that. And every time I see another one that's better, I get it. So there's that one. That's a US first pressing. Next is a US first pressing. This is a white label promo. This one is the cleanest copy I've ever seen. And it's still got some dirt and crap on it. So, there's that. And I don't have a UK pressing of that, but the UK pressing had a different cover. And I have, when it was the Editions EG Has to Be Masters, they released the original UK cover. So that's what I have with this. This is the EG Editions Has to Be Master. And this is what the cover of the UK pressing looked like. Once again, this is the one I go to listen to, usually. Sometimes I like to put on the other ones just to listen to them. Next one is a live album. It is their first live album, and it basically sounds like a bootleg. No lie, it's awful recording. If you're not really into King Crimson, if you see this album, don't get it. Just plain don't get it. Because it's basically, I mean, I'd hate to say this, but it's kind of trash, almost. But, I mean, I still love it. Not to say, defend any of you guys that like Earthbound, but in my opinion, it's just not that good. So, and it's with the Island lineup. Because basically this is just 21st century Schizoid Man and 4 jams. Basically what this is. And I hear Boz Burrell, the singer and bassist, scats, does all kind of stuff in this. It sounds good, but come on, Boz. It's King Crimson. There's no room for that in King Crimson. And this is not original pressing. This is a UK reissue on Polydor, Red Label. I don't have need to get original. And I don't believe this was issued in the USA. So, little footnote about that album. After that lineup fell apart, then came the lineup you're hearing right now, and preferably my favorite King Crimson lineup there is. I just cannot stop listening to this lineup. I love this lineup. On bass and vocals, we have John Wetton, Drums, Bill Bruford. Violin and mellotron, David Cross, Robert Fripp on guitar. And this is their first album they came out with. Oh, and James Murr. Can't forget about Murr. He was percussion. He was on this album, and he wasn't in the band too long. This is Lark's Tongues and Aspic. Such an iconic cover right there. I love this cover. And this album is basically holy food right here for my ears. I love this album. So good. So good. So there's that one. That is a US first pressing on Atlantic. It's the Atlantic label you all guys have all seen. Next, Canadian copy. First pressing. Atlantic. Nothing much to see there. Next, the EG editions EG, my bad. It has to be mastered. And this is what the UK cover looked like. It had the red down the side. So I personally like the red. UK just always gets the cooler covers. Europe, you guys just always get the cooler covers. I don't know why. But there you go. Preferably one I listen to. Next up, one of my favorite albums by King Crimson, Starless and Bible Black. I absolutely love this album. I love it. Can't get enough of this album. I play this album all the time. Not to say that I don't play the other ones all the time. I extra play this one. And this is a US first pressing. US first pressing. Now the thing that I have both of these is, I don't know if you can tell from the camera, but when you show them right next to each other, they're discolored. This one's a lot lighter than this one. I don't know if I'm just crazy. You might not be able to see it on the screen, but they're definitely different. This one looks more like the CD cover. This one does not. So, I don't know. Next, classic King Crimson album. And yeah, Kurt Cobain said this was one of his favorite albums of all time, which is odd for him, I guess. I just thought that was kind of weird. No one else. Red is the album. This album, once again, holy water for your ears. It's a first pressing, US first pressing. Next, US first pressing. Don't know why I have two. Don't know. That's all the reds I have. I would like to get more, but to me, I don't know. It's just the hardest one to find, album to find. I don't run into them too often. Next, a live album. Much better than Earthbound. Much better. USA. And this is the Editions EG half-speed master. I don't have an original copy or anything. This is it. Came with a little advertisement. And can you believe back then VHSs were $30 each? That's insane. There you go. King Crimson. USA. Okay, this is the last album I'm going to show, and we're almost about to push 20 minutes, so I got a whole nother stack about this big. If I'm boring you to death, just don't go on. It's a compilation, The Young Person's Guide to King Crimson. And I'm going to open this one. This is on Editions EG, that black label that I showed earlier. There we go. Perfect copy. And the thing that I wanted to show about this one is, well, here's the gatefold. Here's the gatefold. Really cool. But this one came with a big booklet. It's a really cool booklet. It's basically a history of the band. There you go. And has every single tour date they played up until this point. I thought that was cool, and it's got Robert Fripp's diary in here, all kinds of stuff. So yeah, there's the booklet. And that's all for this video. So if you want to keep watching my King Crimson collection, there's still much more to see. So I'll see you guys on the next video.